Hello, hello, welcome back. I'm Annie and this is Historically Fashioned. Today is Friday, March 21st, which means we are doing a Friday Sews. So I will be talking to you about the things I've completed this week, the things I'm working on, my plans for next week, and maybe a little life update. Haven't been doing much, not much to share, but let's go ahead and get started. I do once again have my notebook, so hopefully I can stay a little bit on track. We shall see, and hopefully this won't take too long. Famous last words, I know. Okay, so as you probably can tell from the thumbnail, Sally is finished, and I am so happy with her. She turned out just the way I had hoped she would, and I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled. So I know I talked a lot about her before, but I did mention, I think previously, that I'd go over some of the changes that I made in the pattern. So I have my pattern here. Sorry for the rustling. I will try to keep it to a minimum. Okay, so the first thing that I changed was the sleeve. Now, the sleeve, is longer in the pattern, and it has, like elasticated cuff. It's longer, and then you put the shirring here, and then you have like a 2-puff sleeve. I just cut it off at that shirring line to make a short sleeve, and then I added, 5 rows of shirring? 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. 4 rows of shirring there. So that was the first change. The second change is that I actually added an inch onto the length of the bodice, no, half an inch onto the length of the bodice here. And then I added an inch, I kind of slashed and spread right here through the pattern and added an inch here to just give myself a little more fullness in the bust. Really happy with that. I widened the skirt. I shortened it a little bit from what the pattern has, and then I widened it. So again, slashed and spread, and I added, width in there. I think I added a total of, what is this, 12 inches? No, 24 inches to the bottom of the skirt, just to give it a little more poof. Yeah, so overall, I'm really, 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 really happy with how she came out. I decided to use snaps instead of buttons because I did a fairly good job of matching up my flowers in the front, and I didn't want to disturb that line. I didn't want to have big buttons, going down the front of it. So yeah, I am so, so happy with her. Now this pattern, style arc, we all know style arc patterns are gorgeous. They're beautiful. But the directions are notoriously skimpy. So I did not use this at all. I did things 100% my own way. So for one thing, I find the way that they have you attach, let's see if I can get her to turn around. Come on. Have you attach the yoke to the back and the front is really strange. They make it more difficult than it needs to be, especially to get in to do the understitching. So I did that completely differently. I decided to add the shirring on the back after after everything here was attached. So you basically attach, like, you don't do the side seams until very, very last. You do all of the back, you do all of the front, and then you sew up the side seams. And the way the pattern has you do it, they want you to do the shirring panel first, and then attach it to the back, and then attach it to the skirt. And I just found that fiddly on my mock-up, and so I decided to attach everything first, and then do the shirring, and then sew up the side seams. It worked out perfectly. It was so much easier to manage. Same thing with the sleeves. I did the sleeve shirring in the round so that I didn't have to fiddle with it when I'm trying to like sew it up. I don't know. It was much easier. There are a couple of sew-alongs for the Style Arc Belle dress. And I looked at both of them. The first one is basically doing it exactly the way the pattern tells you. The second one is only for the bodice. I did find that helpful, especially for seeing how they did the yoke. And so I actually used her method on that one. I will link both of those videos down below if you're interested in checking those out. I was thinking I might do a sew along at some point, because I do plan to make another one of these. I love this pattern. I love this dress. So I do plan to make another one, and just kind of like show you my method, which I personally found easier than what they have going on there. Oh, I've also forgot to mention, I did my pockets differently as well. They have those really weeny little flappy pockets in the pattern. I hate those. So I have my regular pattern that I use for my pockets all the time, and I just did them that way. So, you know, they're an inseam pocket. They're a much bigger pocket. Typically, I like to sew them into my waistband, but because the way this is constructed, that's difficult. So I made my regular pocket, and let's see if I can open this up and maybe show you. I did my regular pocket, and then I attached it here with some tape and just put the tape into the waistband. That way it keeps my pocket hanging flat and straight. It doesn't sag. I can put heavy things in there and the weight is taken up by the waist. So that was make number 1. Again, thrilled with her. Okay, now let's see if we can scooch her over so I have a little more room. Okay. The next thing I finished is the dress I'm wearing. So this is another zip front dress from the, what is this book? The Gertie Sews Vintage Casual. I sewed my mock-up of this up in that Lady McElroy Cobra Corsage fabric, and I love that dress. It's so great. It's so comfortable to wear. So this is another one that I made. This is out of the pastel Harry Potter fabric that I got from Spoonflower. So it is also a cotton lawn. Obviously, I will hopefully have some photos showing while I'm talking about this. Again, super happy with this make. Came together really quickly, really easily. I used a vintage zip for this. Oh my gosh, I love vintage zippers. They are so much better than modern zippers. They have, this particular one has metal teeth and the tape is cotton. Love it. Super easy to put, well, easy to put in. Are zippers ever easy to put in? Anyway, I find them easier because I don't have to worry about melting anything, which is great for me. So I love this pattern. The only issue that I have with this pattern is the sizes. Now, these come out of Gertie's books. And I understand when she published these originally, the patterns were, you know, they're included, as they do, right? In this little envelope right here, all of your patterns are in there and you trace them off. So I get that. You can't be as size inclusive as you normally are, especially her. She's got her regular patterns and her Patreon patterns have such an amazing range that the range for this is honestly a little disappointing. So these patterns only go from a size 2 to 16. So that translates to a 32 bust up to only a 46-inch bust, a waist of 24 inches to 38 inches, and a hip of 36 inches to 50 inches. Now, I think I'm like an average size, and I am basically up in the maximum size range for this, almost. I do a size 12 at the shoulders and bust and grade into a size 14 at the waist. That works perfectly for me. I don't have to make any other adjustments, but I realize that it is a limited size range. I wish that at some point she could revisit these patterns and either release them on Patreon or, I mean, I don't know how she would do it, but they're great patterns and I love them, and I just wish that they were a little more size inclusive. So yeah, this one is finished. Yay, I will be making more of these. It's a quick sew, it's an easy sew, and I can you know, I can whip them out pretty quickly. And they took me 2 afternoons to sew this dress up. Whip them out pretty quickly, which is what I need for my upcoming Disney wardrobe. So that's everything that I finished this week. I did start my boat neck dress. So here's where we are with that. I have only so far sewn the darts. So yeah, there's 4 front darts, 2 back darts. I've done the facing. And that's it for right now. So hopefully today I'll find some time to at least get the bodice constructed on this one. And hopefully finish this up by Saturday so that I can move on to things that I need to get sewn up for next week. Speaking of, the deadline for Sew Frugal is fast approaching, and I have not even started. I have not 100% solidified my pattern or my fabric or anything. So I really need to get on that this weekend. Hopefully I will have time to, you know, get my new pattern, you know, situated, and get it all cut, get everything cut out, and go ahead and get started on that so that I can finish that up by next week. And then I also have to get that Betty Boop dress sewn up. I have ordered the fabric. It's not here yet. I did just get notification yesterday that it has shipped, so it should be here next week. I still don't know what pattern I'm going to use for that, but I need to get that done. Those are the 2 pressing items on my to-do list. Yeah, I think that's it for next week. I think that's all I'm going to have time for, because I have 2 interviews I have to do next week. So I've got to, you know, prepare for the interviews and then obviously go to the interviews. I have one on Tuesday, which is actually at home. I can do it. It's an online interview. It's one of those video ones. So I've got that to do. I've got to get that done on Tuesday, and then on Thursday I have to actually go down and do my interview with a panel of people. So, eeps, a little anxious about that. Anyhow, that's everything for today. Look at me with 12 minutes or so. I would love to hear what you have been up to in your sewing rooms or sewing spaces. I'm very, very nosy. I always want to know what people are up to and what they're doing. So if you have had time to sew this past week, I'd love to hear about it. You can, of course, find me on Instagram. I try to post there, you know, a couple times a week. I'm not religious about it, but yeah, I like to go over there every once in a while and check things out and share my makes. So you can find me there at Historically Fashioned, same thing I am here. And yeah, if you like today's video, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I am hoping to film another video hopefully today, all about my must-have tools in the sewing room. I'm sure some of you have some of the same tool must-haves that I do, but maybe some of them are different. I don't know. If you'd like to see that video, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you will see that pop up in your feed. And until then or next week, have a fabulous week in your sewing space. I hope you have time to sew and make many wonderful things. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. Bye.